how has the fashion world changed from business development perspective with all the fashion startups, flash sales, websites, etc.? So I do business development at Ministry of Supply, and it's kind of a broad term that most people don't know what it means. But what that means in our context is kind of working with partners to get the word out. So if we're doing a partnership with a flash sale, working with them. If we're doing a pop-up store with Bonobos, working with them. And then also focused on our own retail spaces. For us, I've touched on this a little bit, so you might be getting this now, but we have a really unique story. And it's a very different story. It's very, kind of unique. So what we found we have the most success is if people really understand the story. So if they understand that we're different than typical business wear, if they understand why we're typical than business wear, if they understand what the technology that goes into our clothing is, if they understand kind of the benefits they'll have once they wear it, if they go to a random department store and just pick up one of our shirts and another shirt, we need them to understand what those differences are. So what we really focus on is getting our story in front of people and kind of mastering the art of storytelling and making sure that people really understand who we are and what makes us different. From a business development standpoint, that means really working with other partners that really prioritize telling your story and really understand the importance of the story. So we wouldn't work with kind of a department store that just wants to throw us on the shelves and assume that a customer will pick it up and buy it. Rather, we want to work with a store that will have a display for us and really put the investment into showcasing us and our differentiating factors. I think that when working with partners, it's really important to kind of research and do a lot of research and figure out how they're going to display your product and how they're going to showcase you. We have definitely worked with partners before where we were like the bottom of the email and the description wasn't really accurate and there were bad pictures. So now what we're really focused on when we work with any partner is figuring out how they tell our story and making sure that they represent our brand well and making sure that they really are as obsessed with our story as we are. And I think that just because there are so many more companies out there, that it's really a lot more challenging figuring out who the best partners are. So there's obviously just like tons of flash sale sites, tons of e-commerce sites, tons of even brick and mortar sites. So really doing your diligence and figuring out like where you want to be partnered with and what brand association you want and how you want your story to be conveyed and being maniacal about that almost, because I think your brand is kind of the most important thing you have, and making sure that that's always showcased in the best light is really important.